杂文篇，树立大信，第二家园文化建设一。
Build great faith cultural building of the second home, now new oasis for life. Part 1. Siefing. The type of faith will decide the type of soul. The type of soul will decide the type of culture. And the type of culture will decide the way of life and production and the operation mechanism of society. The cultural construction in the second home of Laziness has a direct bearing upon our way of life and production and operation mechanism of society, and has a direct bearing upon whether we can ascend to the highest realm of life and realize our ultimate ideal. The paramount principle for the cultural construction of the second home is the building of great faith, the great faith in Buddha and the greatest creator, the great faith in Jesus Christ, Buddha Sakyamuni, immortal Lao Tzu, the Prophet Muhammad, and the great man Mao Zedong, and the great faith in the guide Siefing. Without these three great faiths, it will be impossible to build healthy culture, and people will lose their direction and will fall asunder and plunge into chaos. The resulting internal strife will waste time, energy, material, and mental efforts. As a result, it will be impossible to pioneer the era of Laziness, in which the worthy person can fully utilize his talents. The whole world is like one family. No one will keep lost articles found on the roadside, and the houses need not be bolted at night, in which everything will be in complete harmony. The weather will be good for harvest, and everyone will be happy, free, and pleasant, and in which all methods are unified into one general principle and all religions are unified into one uniform religion. What is great faith? Great faith is complete belief and trust without any suspicion. Great faith means trusting what you understand and what you do not understand for the moment. Every Chanyuan celestial must read The Greatest Creator thoroughly and then read Revelation in connection with his or her life experience so as to build great faith in the greatest creator. Without the great faith, it is like water without source and wood without root. Every Chanyuan celestial must read Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and Gospel of Judas, and have profound knowledge of Diamond Sutra, Heart Sutra, and Tao Te Ching. Worship Muhammad and Islamic spirit, learn Mao Zedong's spirit of serving the people with heart and soul, form the most sublime wish and build the great faith in Jesus Christ, Sakyamuni, Lao Tzu, Muhammad, and Mao Zedong. Every Chanyuan celestial should read Chanyuan corpus and Siefing corpus thoroughly, know about the guide Siefing, and build the great faith in the guide Siefing. You can ask yourself who in this world can inherit and carry forward the wisdom of God, Buddha, celestial being, sages, and saints in a comparatively systematic and complete manner. Comparison can tell who is superior and who is inferior. You can make a comparison of all people in the history of mankind and all people of the present time. If any one of them can surpass Siefing in words and actions, then you can abandon the guide Siefing immediately. Faith is truth. Love is life. Faith can accomplish everything. Small faith accomplishes small thing. Great faith accomplishes great thing. Without faith, one will not know what course to take and will accomplish nothing. Comparison can tell who is superior and who is inferior. You can make a comparison of all people in the history of mankind and all people of the present time. If any one of them can surpass Siefing in words and actions, then you can abandon the guide Siefing immediately. Faith is truth. Love is life. Faith can accomplish everything. Small faith accomplishes small thing. Great faith accomplishes great thing. Without faith, one will not know what course to take and will accomplish nothing. With great faith, you can overcome all difficulties and hardships in life. You can light up the magical lamp in your heart and illuminate the road ahead. You can get rid of passivity, pessimism, and form a positive and optimistic attitude. And you can pursue the sun and get away from darkness, and finally reach the soul mountain indomitably. We should build this cultural atmosphere, namely the great faith in the greatest creator, the great faith in Jesus Christ, Buddha Sakyamuni, the immortal Lao Tzu, the prophet Muhammad, and the great man Mao Zedong, and the great faith in the guide of life genuine Siefeng. This is the core of culture building of the second home.
常心存感激，第二家园文化建设2。
Be always grateful cultural building of the second home, now new oasis for life. Part 2. Siefeng. Gratitude is the primary element for the sublimation of the quality of life. To become Chanyuan celestial, one must be grateful. To enter the second home, one must be grateful. How can one not be grateful for escaping the program of the secular world and enjoying the great pleasure of life in the second home? What else do we want? The second home takes charge of our food, clothing, shelter, transportation, living, aging, illness, and health, and we need not toil and worry about supporting the old and raising the young. Our work is simple, and we need not be overloaded with trifles. With a lot of sisters, brothers, and lovers, we are no longer lonely and solitary. With free and open love, we are no longer depressed, melancholy, and distressed. Since we have achieved the state of having nothing and at the same time possessing everything, we need no longer worry about possession. Since we have the stage to fully exhibit our personality and talent, we no longer need to fear that our talent will not be put to good use. Since we are far away from the secular world, we no longer feel anxious about the intrigue, scheming, and cheating between each other. Since we have our guide to lead us, we need not worry about the future of our life. What else do we want? Man should not be greedy. Do you think there is an end to it if you still feel unsatisfied when living in such a cultural atmosphere and environment, still feel that you have not treated yourself fairly, still dislike this or that, still make endless complaints, and find faults with everything? Without a sense of gratitude, you will have an unsatiable desire, you will feel unsatisfied, you will grumble with complaints, you will make trouble, you will become lazy, you will be fastidious, you will have a bee in your bonnet, you will feel only you are capable, you will feel others owe you a lot, you will complain and find faults, you will try to control and hold others in sway, you will stir up trouble and sow discord between people, you will hurt others in words, you will cause endless trouble and suffering to your sisters, brothers, and lovers, and you will not be able to concentrate on your work. With a sense of gratitude, you will have a clear consciousness and mind. You will not ask for too much. You will not keep your eyes on other people's shortcomings. You will not loaf around without anything to do and without anything on mind. You will not attempt to control and usurp others. You will not attempt to impose your own will upon others. You will not restrict others' joy, happiness, blessing, and freedom. You will not have jealousy, complaint, and comparison. You will not lose temper and have a lot of discontent and grievances. You will not feel that others are bullying and restraining you, and you will not be disheartened and listless when you meet some setbacks. With a sense of gratitude, you will bring joy and pleasure to others and yourself. You will not feel the poverty and hardship of life. You will not feel depression. You will feel everything is wonderful and satisfying. You will be broad-minded and refreshed. You will have unselfish love and devotion. You will always compliment and encourage others instead of finding fault and complaining to others. You will be forgiving and tolerant to others' mistake and faults. You will form harmonious, amiable, and loving relationship with the environment and people, and you will have great enthusiasm and passion and devote completely to the cause of man's happiness. Before we realize our ideals, we should always keep in mind that none of us is perfect and we all need further sublimation, and that we should not stop at where we were yesterday. Since neither we ourselves nor others are perfect, we should forgive and tolerate each other, while tolerance derives from the gratitude in our soul. The sense of gratitude in every Chanyuan celestial should be a cultural characteristic of the second home. As long as we have a sense of gratitude, there will be no mountain of flame that we cannot climb across, there will be no difficulty that we cannot overcome, and there will be no temporary plight that we cannot put up with, because the sense of gratitude can reach heaven and earth and human nature. As long as we have the sense of gratitude, we will get the love from Buddha and the greatest creator, and we can get out of the temporary plight and change for the better. Be always grateful over everything, and eventually you will reach your ideal destination.
坦诚直言，第二家园文化建设三。
Be frank and honest cultural building. Of the second home, now new oasis for life? Part 3. Xiefeng. We should put an end to autocracy and dictatorship. We shall make sure that all kind, hardworking, simple, and faithful people enjoy pleasant, joyful, free, and happy life. And we will build a good culture and environment where there is no oppression, no exploitation, no suppression, no destruction, no maltreatment, no infliction, and no discrimination, where all people are equal, people care and love each other and live harmoniously, and where people share weal and woe. Firstly, people who speak frankly shall not be subject to revenge and retaliation and threat. Anyone who has some opinion to contribute shall be encouraged, respected, heard, and paid attention to, as long as he is speaking the truth, as long as he is not deliberately provocative and does not make groundless speculation, as long as he is not unreasonable and does not talk nonsense, as long as he does not aim to stir up trouble and instigate, as long as he does not create difficulties and form a clique to pursue selfish interest, as long as he does not attack for personal spite, as long as he does not expose others' privacy and land them in an embarrassing situation. Since the guide Xiefeng plays a critical role in this second home of ours, and I myself is not perfect, you should be strict with me, so that you can prevent the guide from becoming an insatiable autocrat and destroying this beautiful home that has been built with your hard work. Every sister, brother, and lover should speak out frankly, help me, and save me instead of fomenting my mistakes whenever he or she discovers that I practice favoritism, that I take advantage of my power to bully people, that I maltreat any Chanyuan celestial, that I deviate from the values of Chanyuan, that I reserve privileges for myself, that I threaten or harm anybody, or that I have caused the harm of spirit, soul, and flesh to any sister or brother. If my words and behaviors have offended you, please point them out frankly, and do not let me be misled and mistakenly think that you like my words and behaviors to such an extent that I become swellhead and always have my way. Please tell me frankly if I have not handled affairs fairly, if I take part with someone, or if I practice bureaucratism and oppression. If I retaliate somebody for his frankness, then I have degenerated into a demon. Then the guide has lost his reason and is not worth trusting. We should speak frankly about the guide. We should also speak frankly about every Chanyuan celestial in the home. No one in this home can be left out. Everyone should accept others' frank opinion. Anyone who harbors discontent and hatred for others' kind and frank words and resort to retaliation is not sincerely engaging in self-refinery and self-cultivation, and thus should be criticized by the guide. The best way for frank speech is to reserve one night every week for a meeting of exchange in the home. Everyone shall speak frankly in the public if they have some opinions concerning some matter, if they feel that they are wronged, if they feel that they are not treated fairly, if they feel that they have sustained someone's maltreatment and harms to their spirit, soul, and flesh, or if they find that the sister or brother of the home has deviated the values of Chanyuan in speech and actions. All problems should be resolved publicly instead of privately. We should build a culture in which everyone can speak frankly. We Chanyuan celestials should all be superhuman. He will not be a qualified Chanyuan celestial and a frank person if he does not speak frankly about the wrongs, unfair treatment, and oppression he has suffered. A person who does not speak frankly is absolutely not an honest person. He is either a cunning and sly double dealer or a good-for-nothing. With the exception of privacies, everything in the second home should be transparent and exposed to the sunlight. Otherwise, it will be difficult for us to create the era of life genuine for mankind, and we will not be entitled to guide the whole mankind. Privileged class and special interest groups are not allowed in the second home. At the same time, We should not practice egalitarianism, because we have the noblest wish in self-refinery and self-cultivation, and everything that we do is for the sake of perfecting ourselves and reaching the best realm of life and life. We do not aim to obtain any personal benefit and interest from the home. Open the windows and the sunlight and fresh air will come in. Take a broad view, and you will see faraway mountains are fresh and green. If everybody speaks frankly, the dark cloud will be dispersed and decay will be turned into miracle. Then we can create an ideal environment and a beautiful future, set an example for mankind, and eventually realize our most beautiful future.
情爱性爱自由第二家园文化建设4
Freedom of emotional love and sex love. Cultural building of the second home, now new oasis for life. Part 4. Selfishness. February 22nd, 2010. Emotional love is the precious gift endowed to mankind by the greatest creator. Sex love is the highest order of game, as well as an effective initial approach to become a Buddhist believer, to gain enlightenment and reach the realm of Elysium. Fully enjoying emotional love and sex love accords the will of the greatest creator and is a part of beautiful life that cannot be ignored and expropriated. It is an important connotation of the culture building of the second home to ensure that everyone fully enjoys emotional love and sex love and protect everyone's freedom to fully enjoy emotional and sex love. Any suppression or expropriation of this freedom is inhuman and goes against the will of the greatest creator. There is no family, no marriage, and husband-wife relationship in the second home. Once inside the second home, everyone is free and is free from any bondage and shackles in the matter of emotional love and sex love. On the basis of mutual consent and within the code of civility, one will not be subject to any form of restraint and supervision in his or her emotional life and sex life. Anyone who attempts to limit and supervise others' freedom of emotional love and sex love has deviated the values of Chanyuan and will not be entitled to live in the second home. No one should usurp or control others. No one should treat others as his or her private properties. No one should interfere in others' emotional love and sex love. No one should expropriate others' freedom of emotional love and sex love. In other fields of life, we should get rid of the consciousness of feudal autocracy, eliminate oppression and private ownership. In the field of spirit, soul, and flesh, we should also get rid of the consciousness of feudal autocracy, eliminate oppression and private ownership. Jealousy indicates the ugliness of one's soul. Jealousy, complaints, resentment, and hatred manifested in emotional and sex love are the symbols of an ugly soul. It is morally criminal to restrict, control, monitor, supervise, and hinder others' freedom of emotional love and sex love out of jealousy. In the second home, any form of emotional and sex love is free. One is free to live all by himself. 2 People are free to live together faithfully and refrain from any emotional and sexual relations with any third person. One is also free to have more than one emotional and sexual partners. One is also free to have unlimited number of emotional and sexual partners. Everything goes on in accordance with one's own free will. This is private affair, not public affair. The second home respects everyone's will, personality, and hobbies. No one should impose his or her will and values upon others. Those who like bread should not limit other people's like for noodles. Those who do not like apples should not forbid others to eat apples. The home encourages the blooming of all flowers, like the 8 celestial beings that each display their own special skills in crossing the sea. The home provides the stage for the full and comprehensive blooming of gorgeous flowers of human characters. For thousands of years in human history, as a result of erroneous consciousness of emotional love and sex love and artificial limitation, improper moral norms and commandments have been established in different countries, causing countless people to have been treated unfairly. Human character has been severely suppressed. The originally beautiful things have been messed up. Actually, very simple things have been complicated. Things that are pure and noble in nature have been treated as humble and dirty. What should have been a comedy turned out to be a tragedy. Such situations should not continue. The original purity and simplicity of things should be restored so that everyone can fully enjoy the pleasure of emotional love and sex love, and everyone leads a happy, pleasant, free, and blessed life. And this is an important part of our culture building. Since man is still in the backward and ignorant state at present, in the situation of competition and struggle governed by the rule of jungles, and in the war of survival centering on the selfish possession of resources, we face severe challenge and difficulty in building a culture that makes sure everyone fully enjoys emotional and sex love. The road ahead is fraught with twists and turns and great risks. Without a firm will, one is likely to be swallowed up by the secular outlook on emotional love and sex love at any time. The wind and waves of the secular world may overturn our boat of new culture. However, the society is moving forward, people are awakening, and more people have realized that the traditional views on emotional love and sex love have caused great misfortune and pain to mankind, especially to individuals. We firmly believe that as long as we stick to our belief, and as long as we are patient, the new culture of the second home is bound to be widely accepted by people. A brand new way of life will bring happiness and light to mankind, and the life genuine era surely come to us.
信靠家园，第二家园文化建设5
Believe in and rely on the home, cultural building of the second home, now new oasis for life. Part 5. Siefing. At home we rely on our parents, in the society we depend on our friends. This is one part of the traditional culture. To survive and develop in the actual human society, people mainly depend on interpersonal relations, parents, husband, wife, children, sisters and brothers, relatives and friends, classmates and associates, leaders and subordinates, and so on. As a result, the relations between people become extremely complicated and entangled. If anything adverse happens to the relation that you depend on, it may trigger a series of interpersonal disputes and emotional turmoil, concessions, resignation to exploitation, suppression and depression, oppression and exploitation, jealousy and complaint, resentment, intrigue against each other, scheming against each other, contention, flattery, cheating, rising to bait, anger and revenge, abuse and maltreatment, mental torture, control of the soul, and the like. Once you change and place your trust on the second home, all these ugly phenomena will disperse like dark clouds. Every Chanyuan celestial's food, clothing, shelter, transportation, living, health and diseases are taken care of by the home. The elderly people are supported by the home. The children are raised and educated by the home, and the freedom of emotional love and sex love is guaranteed by the home. The home provides the stage for every Chanyuan celestial to fully exhibit their ambition and talent. Thus, we can surely shift from our dependence on interpersonal relations in the traditional culture to the dependence on the home. Accordingly, interpersonal relations will become pure and simple, natural and harmonious. People will live in happiness and love. We should build our belief in and dependence on the greatest creator, the home, and ourselves. We should not believe in and depend on man. Belief in and dependence on man will lead to tragedy of life and a series of bewilderment and pain. Belief in and dependence on man will prove to be our own and others' encumbrance and spiritual burden. Belief in and dependence on man will surely make one become the servant and sacrifice of others and make it impossible to lead a life of one's own. How do we believe in and depend on the home? We shall regard the home as the place where we can settle down and lead a quiet life, as the stage where we can fully utilize our talents, as the best environment where we can obtain joy, happiness, freedom, and blessing, and as the fertile soil where we can bring into full play our sincerity, kindnesses, virtue, love, faith, and honesty. We shall regard each Chanyuan celestial as our sister's brother, relative, and lover. Love the home, unselfishly devote one's talent and wisdom to the home, Carefully and conscientiously do every job that one has chosen in the home according to one's interest and hobbies. Strive to do his or her best and achieve the best performance. Contribute every day to the home more than one gets from it. Meanwhile, continuously sublimate the quality of life. Perfect his or her own non-material structure of life. Continuously make way to the highest realm of life and realize 1 foot long cherished wish and ideal. How can we believe in and depend on the home? Upholding 800 values for new era human being is the fundamental guarantee for the realization of the wish of the individual and the ideal of the home.
除贪腐懒奢思，第二家园文化建设6。
Eliminate greed, corruption, laziness, extravagance, and selfishness. Cultural building of the second home, now new oasis for life, Part 6. Selfing. Corruption, embezzlement, laziness, extravagance, selfishness, and waste are the archenemy of civilization, are the character and behavior of demons, are the cancer on the body, are the viruses of depravity and the cozy home, are the pathway to evils, are the poison that erodes the beautiful soul, and are the undercurrent, reef, and quicksand that hinder man's evolution toward the era of life genuine. In order that we can create a cultural environment in which everyone is joyful, happy, free, and blessed, in order to ensure that man and nature and man live in harmony and peace, and in order to realize the most beautiful wish and most sublime ideal of man, we should prevent the occurrence of corruption, embezzlement, laziness, extravagance, selfishness, and waste. We should thoroughly get rid of the soil for the breeding and growth of these 6 evils. Otherwise, the mansion of civilization will collapse because it is built on the fluctuating quicksand. First, every Chanyuan celestial must understand that, no matter how much sweat and effort we have made for the home, and no matter how much contribution we have made to the home, our purpose is to pay back our debts accumulated over different lives and build up the wealth and treasure for our journey to the heavenly kingdom, instead of acquiring more benefits and interest from the home than ordinary Chanyuan celestial. Any contribution and devotion should not be an excuse for our corruption, embezzlement, laziness, extravagance, selfishness, and waste in the second home, and should not be a bargaining counter and standard for the formation of the special interest group that stands high above the masses. Everything in the second home belongs to all Chanyuan celestials. Anyone will be suspected of waste? If he or she has exceeded basic standard in the aspect of food, clothing, shelter, and transportation and has hindered the principle of full utilization of resources and man's talents. Anyone will be suspected of waste? If he or she has exceeded basic standard in the aspect of food, clothing, shelter, and transportation and has hindered the principle of full utilization of resources and man's talents. How can we prevent the occurrence of corruption, embezzlement, laziness, extravagance, selfishness, and waste in the second home? First, we should constantly learn and understand 800 values for new era human being. We should always uphold the 800 values and make sure that every Chanyuan celestial living permanently or temporarily in the home builds the most noble wish, sets up the great and lofty ideal, cultivates noble moral character, sublimates the realm of life, exhibits the sincerity, kindness, virtue, love, faith, and honesty in the depth of soul, willingly and voluntarily learn and follows the example of saints, lights up the magical lamp in the mind, constantly remains alert and prevents himself or herself from depravity, and establishes a moral cord in his or her own conscience and make a judgment of oneself. Secondly, we should eliminate the private ownership, guarantee that everyone has nothing but owns everything, solve for everyone the issue of food, clothing, shelter, transportation, living, aging, and death, solve the issue of supporting the old people and raising and educating the children, solve the issue of physiological need, enrich spiritual and cultural life, and promote the taste of life. At the same time, we should do away with the soil for the contention of power,